Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Joppy Noodle Legs here today. Today I've got another movie review for you. I've got a little Sullivan here with me today as well. Can you come and say hello? Come on in. Oh, come on in. Come on in. Here he is. Here's the baby. Here he is, everyone. I know you've all come to see him. Hello everybody. Beautiful boy, isn't you, eh? Such a beautiful boy. Yeah, we've got another Noodle film review today, and today we're looking at a historically important film, which is something I don't normally do on my channel. I tend to always look at the real sort of cheesy films that nobody really sort of like watches, but this is a sort of like historically important film. Although it is a still sort of B movie, low budget movie, what it represented at the time when it came out, it was so sort of like important to cinema, and it opened a whole it opened the whole floodgates for horror movies and for especially this genre. Anyway, today we're looking at George Romero's Night of the Living Dead. So before we go into it, let me just show you this edition. This is the Criterion edition. Been after this for a while and I managed to pick it up eventually. Let's have a little look for you. Okay, so it comes in like a cardboard sort of slipcase with some sort of like quite cool artwork on there. It's got a poster with it of the young girl that's in the film. There we go, in which you can see I've got tattooed on my arm there, the bottom there. So it's got a poster of her, and on the back it's got a rather large essay, and it's also got like a little bit about the credits and cast of the film in there. So it's got like an essay in there. It's got 2 discs. Obviously these are both Blu-ray. One, it's a 4K restoration of a 2K print, so that's really why I wanted to pick it up. It's got the 2 different versions of the film, because it did come out with a different title, and that's the only real difference, is the title screen. And it's got another disc of extra features and documentaries, which is really cool. So that's this edition. Let's pop it back in its box. So we're going to start with a little synopsis for you, as I tend to do. And the film sort of starts off with a car taking a rather slow drive round a country lane. So yeah, this car seems to take its time to get where it's going. It's actually going to a cemetery, and then it pulls up and we meet our first 2 characters from there, which is Johnny and Barbara.
They ought to make the day the time changes, the first day of summer.
What?
Well, it's 8 o'clock and it's still light.
A lot of good the extra daylight does us. Now, we've still got a 3-hour drive back. We're not going to be home until after midnight.
Well, if it really bugged you, Johnny, you wouldn't do it.
You think I want to blow Sunday on a scene like this? You know, I figure we're either going to have to move Mother out here or move the grave into Pittsburgh.
She can't make a trip like this.
Oh, but she can.
So it comes that they're going to the graveyard to visit a man. I don't know if it's their dad. I'm not sure. It's not really made clear, but they're doing it on behalf of their mother because she can't make it there. And I think they had some problems with the radio on the way there.
Hey, gentlemen, we're coming back on the air after an interruption due to a technical problem.
So that they've got some sort of a like a reef there, and they're taking it to the person's grave who they are intending to visit.
I wonder what happened to the one from last year. Each year we spend good money on these things. We come out here and the one from last year's gone.
Well, the flowers die, and the caretaker or somebody takes them away.
Johnny just wants to go back home, but she seems to be taking time to sort of like do whatever she's doing, and then the weather takes a bit of a turn.
Hey, come on, Barb. Church was this morning, huh?
So as you can see, a thunderstorm is approaching, and in the distance, when you look at the graveyard, you can see our first zombie of the film. And then Johnny starts talking with Barbara about her past and how she always used to be scared of being there.
Johnny,
You're still afraid.
stop it now. I mean it.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Stop it. You're ignorant.
They're coming for you, Barbara.
Stop it. You're acting like a child.
They're coming for you. Look, there comes one of them now.
He'll hear you.
Here he comes now. I'm getting out of here.
Johnny. Oh, no! No! Johnny! Help me!
So there you go. The zombie starts to attack Barbara, and then obviously Johnny comes to her aid. She sort of hides behind a gravestone, and Johnny sort of fights with the zombie, but unfortunately comes off worse and gets killed. So then she runs off and runs to like their car. Yeah, so she runs to the car and manages to sort of like alleviate the brake to let the car roll around because she hasn't got the keys. Johnny's got the keys, and so she's managed to escape that way a little bit. But the car rolls down the hill and sort of crashes into a verge, and she gets out, and then she has to start running away. So she's running away, and then she sees in the distance a house, like a white house. So she starts to run towards that for some sanctuary. When she turns up there, the zombie's still in tow, still chasing her. She realizes that no one's there, so she needs to find a way in, and eventually she gets a way in. So now she's actually in the house. We tend to get quite a long sort of scene of her sort of like exploring the house. So after that, she goes to look out the window and she sees our little zombie friend still there. So our little zombie friend's still there, and then it seems to be attracting other zombies coming towards the house. So there she goes, and she makes her gory find at the top of the stairs. Now, for the time, that was quite shocking, because gore was not a thing at all. Although it's black and white, it was still really shocking at the time. Anyway, so she decides to make a run and try and get out of the house.
It's all right. Don't worry about him. I can handle him. Probably be a lot more of them as soon as they find out about us. The truck is out of gas. This pump out here is locked. Is there a key? We can try to get out if we can get some gas. Is there a key?
So she tries to make a run for it, but then she sees the headlights of the car, and then that's our main sort of dude that's turned up. I believe his name's Ben, and he's the main sort of like I'll say hero of the film, but he's the main sort of guy in the film, and she's managed to actually meet him.
Jesus. We've got to get out of here. We have to get where there's some other people. Maybe we better take some food.
So he's sort of like, as you see, we've just met him, and he comes into the house, and he can see that she's really sort of like in shock, and she keeps looking upstairs. He goes up and looks and finds the discovery of that woman's body up the stairs as well, and then he hears a noise coming from the outside. Yeah, so he's heard that noise on the outside and goes to investigate and sees that these zombies are sort of like destroying his truck that he's found. And obviously he wants to try and protect that because that could be their escape route. So he's there attacking the zombies, but not realizing that he's left the door open. Anyway, yeah, so he comes in and he ends up attacking and killing that zombie that's in there too. Um, and then we sort of cut to when he's sort of trying to board the house up with bits of wooden table, and she's useless. She's in shock at the moment. He keeps saying to her, "Go and find some wood. Can you get these? Can you sort the nails out?" And she just wanders around looking lost all the time. Um, but he's trying to board the house up. So while he's boarding the house up, he's sort of like telling. We have like a long bit where he's telling his story, how he's managed to get there, and he sort of tells what's happened in his sort of like story to get to this point of the house. And then she starts to tell hers about her and Johnny, and he gets so bored that he just carries on what he's doing and tells her she's got to calm down. Anyway, she's starting to get a bit irate because she wants to go out looking for Johnny.
Please! We have got to go get Johnny! Please help me! Please!
Don't you know what's going on out there? This is no Sunday school picnic.
Don't you understand? My brother is alone!
Your brother is dead.
No! My brother is not dead! Oh. Oh.
Then again, he keeps carrying on boarding up the house, securing it, and he finds a radio and he turns on the radio.
The killers are eating the flesh of the people they murdered. Repeating this latest bulletin just received moments ago from Cumberland, Maryland, civil defense authorities have told newsmen that murder victims show evidence of having been partially devoured by their murderers. Medical examination of victims' bodies shows conclusively that the killers are eating the flesh of the people they killed.
After a lot more sort of jibber jabber and him sort of like trying to still get the things sorted out in the house, he decides to go up the stairs. He tells her to stay there, and if anything happens, to shout and he'll come running down. And something happens.
We're from town. A radio.
County, Pennsylvania. The Butler County Sheriff has verified that reports of murder victims being partially eaten by their slayers is true. No further details available at this time. However,
How long you guys been down there? I could use some help up here.
That's the cellar. It's the safest place.
You mean you didn't hear the racket we were making up here?
How are we supposed to know what was going on? Could have been those things for all we knew.
That girl was screaming. Sure, you must know what a girl's screaming sounds like. Those things don't make any noise. Anybody would know somebody that needed help.
So, like you see, she's screaming, and he goes running down the stairs, and then we find out that there's more people in the house. They were hiding out in the basement. There's a young girl and her boyfriend, and there's a husband and wife and their sick daughter. And that's it. That's what I'm going to tell you. Are they going to get out of there? Or are the zombies going to kill them and eat them all? Are they going to be able to use that truck to get away? Are they going to get any more information from the radio? Who are these people that are in the basement? You have to watch it and find out. What do I think of Night of the Living Dead? I think it's one of the most important horror films of all time. It's an amazing film. It's really cool and still gripping watch today. It was filmed in the 1960s and on a very low budget. Yes, it's black and white, but that doesn't take away from the sort of like the fear of the film. It's quite eerie and scary. It's the first time that it sort of pictured zombies sort of like eating human flesh. And yeah, and it's kind of like, it is sort of gory, but it's gory as in black and white, so it's easier to sort of like live with it. But back then, no one ever saw it. No one ever knew of this sort of thing. Okay, you had your exploitation films with Blood Feast and that around the same sort of time, but this sort of opened a whole new subgenre of horror. It was like there's one mix, sort of like exploitation and horror together. And to have like a black dude hero was unheard of in those days. So again, that was another sort of like really, and it was not done for any political reason. I believe, because George Romero said he just did the best acting on the on the auditions. That's why he got the part. But yeah, but it come really sort of like historically relevant, and the film's amazing. It's a really gripping zombie film, and it opened that whole genre of the zombie movie. Without this, there would be no sort of zombie genre. This opened it, and this is what set that subgenre out, and it's really, really important film. Um, it's a great film. It's really, really cool. The acting is really good, although it's a low string budget with no known actors in it. It was just filmed really well. It had a sort of like almost like a little bit of a found footage documentary feeling going on about the film. And most George Romero zombie films are like that. You've got that sort of like um, they're watching it on the news like it's happening live. It's actually really happening. A bit like the War of the Worlds sort of thing, that sort of thing. And he sort of brought that into the horror genre. The pluses of this, the transfer is beautiful. It's sharp. It's fantastic. Yes, it's still got the edges. It's still like in a 4.3 format, but that can't be helped. It was the way that it was filmed, and the way it was back in the day, and that's the best they could do of it. But it looks amazing. It's really well acted. The story is great. The characters are cool. The zombies are so cool. They're just so cool. It's got lots of extra features on here, loads, all that full of extra features. It's great to have in the collection. The minuses, there isn't any. There's no minuses about it. So I'm putting this down as an essential watch and giving it 10 out of 10. I give quite a few 10 out of 10s, don't I, guys? Because I really love the horror genre, and I think it's one of the genres that can be misleading or misread by people thinking, oh, it's just silly things, but they're not. A lot of these films have got real sort of like hidden meaning, and a lot of them really represent what's going on in the world at the time they were filmed. You got to remember, this is like when they had all the problems in America post Vietnam, and all the sort of like the sort of like the black and white racism that they had going on in that sort of time period. So they all seem to hit things that are important from that time, and there's no exception at all. So that's my review of Night of the Living Dead. 10 out of 10. You have to have this in your collection if you're a horror film fan, or if you like historical important movies. This one has been supplied to Criterion by a museum, I believe. That's how important it is. Have any of you seen Night of the Living Dead? What did you think of it? Let me know down below what your opinions of the film. I think it's an incredible film. And then he went on to do a few sequels from that, didn't he? He did the Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead. So George Romero, he's such a sort of like amazing visionary when it comes to films. I love his other films like Martin and The Crazies. Such good films. Anyway, guys, till next time, check out a few channels for me. Check out Horror Hands and the Horror Geek, Man v Film, Horror in Todge, RS Designs, Pizzle, I Am Ice Lord, and Sarah of Horror. Go and check all those channels out for me. Until next time, you look after yourselves, look after one another, have an awesome Halloween, and I really hope I see you all soon.